what is a core Java, what is Angular, and everything we'll see. Okay. So before getting into it, let's see like how I can create a Spring Boot application first of all. Okay. Is it complex or what kind of input I have to do, right? That way we'll go. Okay. So here what I'm doing, I am going to create a Spring Boot application, right? So this is a built-in tool given by Spring, right? So here I can choose what kind of build tool, whether it is Maven or Gradle. Okay. You don't need to worry about it. Like I'll explain you again. Okay. And what kind of language we have to choose, whether it is Java, Kotlin. Kotlin is a Google language. Okay. And then Groovy, it is a pretty old. And what is the snapshot version? So it is like every software will have a version, right? So recommended version is 2.7. I will choose it. Okay. And here we have to give the name of the particular project. So I'm going to give Spring Boot demo. Spring Boot demo. Okay. So if you don't understand, it's okay. But still, like I'm just showing how I can create a Spring Boot application. Is it complicated or simple? That is what our idea is. Okay. So Maven project. So mostly all the IT industry uses Maven instead of Gradle, and language is Java. And snapshot depends on, right now we are in 2.7. Maybe after 6 months or 1 year, it may go to 3, 4, 5, whatever. Okay. So Spring Boot demo will be the project name. Artifact. Artifact means that project. And name and description, that's for our reference. And this package is important because that is going to give our modularity, how we are going to handle the modules. Okay. And here we can give like com dot, maybe you can say like KSR. Okay. So here, so I think I am done. What is the project type? What is the version? What is the language? And metadata, artifact, and package. These two things are important, and then group. Okay. And here it is what important thing is. Okay. So why we considered Spring Boot, right? Earlier, when we are talking about Spring MVC, Spring Framework and all, we have to define our dependency. What do you mean by dependency? If I, for example, in KSR, you have to join and then listen to my conversation. How will you do? You have to go to these particular live classes and you have to subscribe and then create your login, and then you will be able to do it. Similar to that, to write a Spring Boot application, I need to have a dependency. Okay. So what is a dependency? It is just a Spring Boot. That's all. Okay. So this library, it is going to take care everything. I'm not going to write any code. Okay. So Maven project, Java, snapshot version, okay, group, name, artifact name, package, whether I want a jar or war file, that is for deploying purpose, and then what is the version. Okay. So I have created, I'm going to create it, click on generate. So the project is generated. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going here, cut my code. It's a zip file, right? I am going here. I'll go to my workspace, right? I have a class folder. In that, I'm going to type backend. And then I'm going to put it over here, and then I'm going to extract it. Okay. I'll extract here. So folder is extracted. So I'm going to use Eclipse or IntelliJ or whatever. But for this session, I am going to use Eclipse. So this is the workspace. What I'm going to do, file, import. Okay. Existing Maven project. So what is my folder? So it was in D drive, workspace, class, backend, Spring Boot demo. Okay. I think it is already having a file. Okay, so maybe we'll have a project already. Let us rename it. Okay. I will do what I will do. Spring Boot demo class. Okay, so right now it is coming because already the project was there. Okay, so it is going to import our entire package. So this is full loaded. So see here, I have not done nothing. This entire project is created by Maven itself. Okay. So what you can see here, this is a library file. Okay. I have not done anything because I have given the import, the our Eclipse itself has taken what is the Java path. Okay. So if you have an issue, you have to go to your build path and see like configure, right? If there is an issue, like if library file, you have different Java version, you have to go and click edit and then check like what kind of version you have. Okay. And then change it. So I have Java 1.8, maybe if it is 18 or 17, you can choose it wherever you have installed, or you can look for alternative JRE also. Okay. And then go to your environment, add and select. Okay. So that and all you will be able to easily learn. But I'm just telling, see, I have 18 also. I have 1.8 also. So 8, I am convenient right now because all the IT industry is using 8 only. They have not updated to latest version of 18. Okay. So this is the way you have to configure. Okay. And what we have done in this pom.xml. Okay. So that is what you have to know. Okay. First of all, we are talking about the Spring Boot. Okay. I have not done anything. I just added Spring Boot. I mean, web only I have added. You remember? If you go here, you see web only I have added, right? Build web, including RESTful application using Spring MVC, use Apache Tomcat as the default embedded container. So this is what we have done, nothing else, right? So what it happened here, like it added this dependency. Okay, this is a library file. Using that library file only, I can handle RESTful web service. I can handle Spring MVC. I can have embedded Tomcat. Okay, the Tomcat server is inbuilt, right? So this dependency is added through our this jar file, and then testing. That if I want to write a test case, this library file will be useful. And then plugin, Maven plugin for building a build tool. Okay, so here the Maven build tool has been created. How we can create a build. So it has the Java path and everything to build it because it has to compile the Java code, right? So for that we need this Maven. Okay. So that's why we have added this dependency. I have not earlier before Spring Boot. I have to create this POM file. I have to configure all these dependencies by manually. Okay. But in that case, you will be having lot of issues because compatibility version will be there. Okay. So here Java 1.8 to that compatible version. What is the dependency required? What is the version? All the complexity will be there. And sometimes it won't work. Okay. For that purpose only, all this inbuilt tool has been created and you don't need to configure any compatibility issue, right? So that's why this pom.xml is important, which is the starter, right? And after that, you can see here these n number of jar files. Earlier, I have to add all these jar files manually. Okay. But here, with the help of Spring Boot, when I added that pom.xml, I have not added the pom.xml, I just defined the dependency. So it has added the two or three dependencies, right? So it has like MVC and everything, but we have added only the pom.xml, only web. But that web.jar, web dependency has added this number of dependency files. Okay, so see here Spring Boot starter, then logback, log4j. Log4j is for logging. Spring Boot starter is there, Jackson binding. Okay, Spring Web, Bean, MVC, AOP, context, expression, JSON path, right? JUnit, Makito, right? All these library files has been added by Spring itself. I have not done anything. And this only we are configuring through our JDK. Okay, because to compile the Java code. Okay, so hope you are clear till now. Any questions? What is a pom.xml? What is this jar file? Because to compile my code. Okay, so we have returned this file only. Okay, nothing else, right? So here is the code. Already it has been written by our Spring Boot application, right? And then application properties, what I am going to do, like I want to define my own port because by default, everywhere will be using 8080. So I want to avoid that. Okay. See, for example, I will tell you the real-time scenario. Okay, so let me let me comment this. If I start the project and again if I start the project, what will happen? If the port is running, then I'll be having an issue. Already the port is listening to 8080. So I have not done not even a single code. Okay. Everything is written by the framework itself, starting Spring Boot class application. Okay. No active profile set. What is that profile set? It's about like whether I want to have prod ready, QA ready or whatever. And Tomcat initialized at port 8080. Okay. Tomcat server is getting started, embedding the web application context. Okay. And then listening to port 8080 and starting the Spring Boot application. Again, let me try to start the server. Application failed to start. Why? See here, web server failed to start. Port 8080 was already in use. Okay, so then we have to kill the port and then do it. Okay, instead of that, what I am going to do, because this already it is running. So that is a headache for us. Okay, so better I will say like server dot port equal to 8081. Okay, so that's a normal convention. That's what I use, right? So if I start here, I will not have any issue. So right now where it is listening to 8080. Okay. So right now, what I am going to do, I am going to create my simple code. Right? What kind of code I have to write, right? So I am not going to write too much of code and then confuse you. Right now, I want to see some application running. Okay, so that's what I mean intention is. Okay, so here you can see like what is the code I have going to write. 3 lines of code I am going to write. Get mapping, hello. Okay, and then public string or whatever. Right. Let's see. Uh, Let me write that code. So what I'm going to do at the rate get mapping, okay, and then say like slash hello, right? And then put a curly brace. Okay. And what is the code I'm going to write? Public string, and then hello is the method. And what I'm going to write? Request param. I'm going to pass a value, right? So request param, right? Equal to name I'm giving. And then maybe this is required, doesn't matter. So maybe I will change it later, right? So, and then I am giving string name because the parameter is string name. And then opening my curly braces, and then I am doing return string dot format. Okay. So welcome to Spring Boot programming, right? And then I'm to write my name, that put a semicolon. So here I am going to, so a lot of errors are coming. What is the reason? Because I have to define my mapping. I have not done anything. What I'm going to do, I'm going to copy paste this library, right? And then web dot the library I'm going to use web dot bind. Sorry, not boot. Bind dot annotation, right? And then maybe I can use this and then copy paste instead of that. Dot get mapping. Then dot this parent. Because I'm having this param and then rest controller. Okay, so I have defined everything. So right now still the error is there. So get mapping is there. Okay, sorry, public thing. So if we type, these kind of errors will come. Okay, so request param. Okay, sorry, to support value. Is the error I'm still getting? So you can check what is the error like this. Okay, so you can see here public string hello, then at the rate request param value equal to name, default value I have not given, right? String name, right? And then return string dot format. So again, it is started. Let's see like what is our code. I have to say hello, right? So whether my program runs or not, let's see. So what is my port? It is listening 8081, right? 8081 and then say hello. Okay, but I'm not getting any response. Why? Because I have to do one more configuration, right? Rest control. What is coming? No. Okay, so again I restart. Or otherwise I can do the restart from here also. Multiple ways we can do. Right? Again, let me do. Not coming. This controller we have done 8081, right? Required parameter name for method is not present. Okay, so there is a issue with our code here, right? So it is looking for the value name. Okay, so here I think the default value is required, I believe. So hello is there. Okay, sorry, hello, it has to be small letter. And then let us define the default value also. So request param value equal to name and then define. This again a hello request param value equal to name, comma is required, right? And then in this program, okay, so right now it is resolved. Maybe if we are not defining it, right, what will happen? So if I remove this, so it doesn't make much difference, right? It is just working. The issue is with our bracket and the parameter. This default is right. So this is how we write a Spring Boot application. It is not so complicated. We are writing a simple Spring Boot application. I have not written much code at all. Only this 3 lines of code is written, and I am writing one more annotation here. And depends on that, I have to do a import, right? That's it. And then I have written one server.port 8081. Okay, so that's what it is simple. how we can write a Spring Boot application. All the things are done by framework itself. Okay, so here you can see like we have a folder called source main Java, and in that there is a package we have created. In that package we have our starter file and resources, like if you want an image file or a property file or any template or something, it will be here. And if you want to write JUnit test cases or anything, it will be here, right? And the pom.xml will have dependency, and Maven will create a build with this tool, right? And the target will have the class files and everything when we are creating a jar file or whatever. Okay, so what is the advantage of this? Like what we need REST controller and Spring Boot application. That is what we have to know. And then we'll close this Spring Boot application, and then we'll get into Angular, how we can do it. And then we'll kickstart the program by getting into the different technology stack. Okay, so why this REST controller and Spring Boot application is required, right? So that we'll see. So Spring Boot application is the starter, okay, for any, Spring Boot, okay. The @ Spring Boot annotation is mainly required, where it is a combination. This is an interview question, like what is the benefit of using Spring Boot application, how it starts, right? And what are the different annotations behind the scene which act, right, in Spring Boot application. There are 3 annotation. One is configure, another one is enable auto configuration, another one is component scan. So if you are not using Spring Boot application, you have to define all 3 together one by one. Okay, so otherwise it will not do anything. Okay, configure is what? It is going to configure your Tomcat server, right? And then enable auto configuration is going to do what? It is going to do your dependency injection and everything. So what do you mean by dependency injection, right? When I am going to have a class and all, you don't need to worry about right now. Maybe when you are getting into deep dive, we'll know. Okay, so dependency injection, like for bean and all, I have to do it. Then I have to enable the auto configuration. Component scan, what is going to do? Like it is going to scan my project. For example, I told you like com.ksr is a package. Okay, and then in Spring Boot demo class. So in that, whatever classes are there, it is going to scan it and then ensure like dependency injection is done. Okay, so one annotation is taking care about 3 different annotations which was there earlier, right? So that's why we configure this Spring Boot application, which is a starter. Okay, and then what is this REST controller is going to do, right? The REST controller is the initial part where that is going to handle our web application, the request. For example, like when we are sending this localhost 8081 and then hello, right? So this is a parameter we are going to pass, and we call it as a URL or URI. Okay, uniform resource identifier or locator, right? So when you type it, that is what it is going to look for, this parameter using this REST controller, right? When you type this, when you type this hello, right? It will look for using the REST controller. It is going to find this path, right? And this file is fetched by our, what do you call this, configure, right? Component scan. So from that component scan, I'm going to get this particular path and then passing this parameter, right? And we have this get mapping and request param. So get mapping, what is going to do? It is going to pass my hello parameter, right? So that I can identify this particular path and render my response. And what is this request param is going to do? I'm going to pass my parameter name. Okay, I'm passing this name to my particular controller. This is called a controller. I am passing this name for this particular hello method. And the default value I'm passing is Spring. If it is not there, it is going to take this. If this particular parameter is not there, it will take this, right? So this is the name, this is the value. Okay, so that is the way we are going to use this get mapping and request param and pass this value, right? And then embedded Tomcat server, it is there, but which is configured through pom.xml, right? Using this what do you call web starter, right? So it is configured and we are going to run this particular application. This is how our Spring Boot application will start and will work. Okay, so this is the way we will create the Spring Boot application, and this is the way going forward we'll run the curriculum. Okay, so for that only I want to give hands on how we'll get into this Spring Boot and then Angular and all. Okay, so hope you don't have any other questions for this particular Spring Boot. Okay.